Welcome back, beautiful, beloved souls. This is a very long PowerPoint, so I hope you'll stay with me. Because it's so long, I will be doing a bit of reading at the same time. Now, before we start, I want to say that I have sourced these pictures, but they are not verified by science. Now, there's a lot of online claims that link Daniel Neems to CERN, C-E-R-N, and a device called Energivision, and it's said to photograph interdimensional beings. In fact, well, not actually in fact, but the thing is that it is supposedly captured over 70 interdimensional beings. So, before we get on, did Daniel Neems invent a device? Is he really missing? Or is it all a hoax, so people can just get thousands of views? We are going to look at a couple of Daniel Neems throughout. I don't know if they're the same person, but I did a lot of research into this PowerPoint. This is why it is so long. So YouTubers sometimes claim that these photos that we're going to be looking at show a CERN portal opening, yet no verified source confirms any CERN involvement. So here is one source I found on the internet, and I'll just be quiet because you might want to write it down and go yourself to have a look. https://www.ufo.Daniel-Neems Scientifico/Inventor/Technologia/Ver/Circes Multidimensionales. I'm not Spanish. Sorry, this is written in Spanish. Let's look at the red flags concerning this site. It is gate-locked content behind a login or paywall. There is no citation of reliable sources, and the actual website is sensational paranormal framing in the UFO paranormal niche. There's a lack of cross-corroboration, and it blends language in exotic style. As I said, it's Spanish. Now, just because it's Spanish isn't a red flag, but Spanish is not known in academic or scientific circles, and there's no transparency or verification. Here is another website I found, https://www.easternSierra-Now.com/beyond-faces-Daniel-Neems. Beyond the beyond, faces in the darkness, the eerie photos of Daniel Neems. And this was written quite recently. But the site itself tells you to do your own research and is actually written in a very sarcastic way. So, who was or is Daniel B Nemes? He does exist, and he got a physics degree at Yale 2023. And look what his dissertation, which is obviously his paper, semi-inclusive measurement of the shared groomed momentum fraction of jets in AU plus AU collisions at star. His research area is experimental physics / high energy physics, specifically studying jet quenching in heavy ion collisions, a star experiment. So, before we get on, here we are. This is supposedly Daniel. There's no official CERN records, publications, or staff listings that include a Daniel Neems associated with these experiments. Now I'm going to show you these images. Here's another place I sourced. So it's at Facebook. The Facebook user is Marco Kuath, and he claimed Daniel Neems went missing. Over 8K people resonated with his post. Now, I want to talk about the Energivision device and interdimensional. Oh, you can't see that very well. I'll have to edit that. But many of my sources of these images are from Pinterest, and I'll get to the end and name the sources. But going back to the energy division, and the interdimensional images appear only on social media and paranormal blogs, not in scientific journals. Here is another Facebook group, and Nisa Cameron's the moderator, and she showed on the Facebook some images. I didn't take any images from Facebook, but a commenter said, "There's something sus about those pics, Nisa. Every one of them is perfectly symmetrical. He's basically creating Rorschach, is that how you say it? Patterns by performing the kindergarten art of making butterflies. Not sure what he's using to mirror, but I'd have to guess that interdimensional beings aren't only one half of a full body." So, this is Daniel Neems. This is what he looks like. I sourced this from Google Images. Now, before we get into the images, here's another website that claims about his vision, but please, again, it's sensationalism, and there's no independent academic institutional validation to the claims. So this website is https://rumble.com/embed/v3yki9n, and the site is about 5 years old. Again, it's sensationalism, makes bold claims, but there's no independent verification. And Some of these visuals that we're going to look at may stem from optical effects, pareidolia, which is seeing faces in patterns, or even digital editing. Now, some of the slides have a number for the so-called entity that was captured. I do need to do a caution before we get into the pictures. Certain online presenters may stretch the story of Daniel Neems for drama or views. Always check sources before sharing. So again, my pictures were sourced from Pinterest, mainly from Daniel Neems, from Worrywart and Monster Man. Now, here's another website that I told you about, and this article tells you right at the end to look and do your own research. In fact, it comes from quite a sarcastic point of view. Probably one of the better websites to go to. So I'll just be quiet for a minute because you might want to write it down before we move on. Okay, you ready to move on? Let's go. So here's the bullet points of the article. It describes Daniel Neems as a Spanish scientist living in Colombia who in 2017 invented a device called Energivision that could photograph interdimensional or multi-dimensional entities. It says he used an infrared camera hooked up to a telescope, shooting thousands of frames of dark matter and then running the algorithms to highlight mathematical related pixels. The article notes critics argue the images are manipulated, digital, or examples of pareidolia. So it states that Neems reportedly wiped most of his online presence around 2018 and disappeared completely from public eye. It sometimes uses humor or sarcasm. Every single image seems to show a being, blah, blah, blah. I'll let you read it a little bit longer and then we'll get into it. So this being is supposed to be being 2A. Now, not all of my images will have a name or a number next to them. So this is 2A. This one is 16B. This one is 55. I'll pause for you to look at them. I'm sorry, I had to do the best I could do with a PowerPoint to try to get the images in. Here's another image, and I did, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Rosarch. When I was 21, as you're looking at the images, I'll share my own personal experience with the Rorschach test. When I was 21, I suffered from postnatal depression and I was given the Rorschach test, And from that, because I saw so many things, more than what the average person said, the psychiatrist labelled me as having a personality of hysteria because of seeing too many things. So let's go on to the next one. Apologies. As I said, this is the best I could do, and I will cite my sources at the end of the PowerPoint. So let's move on to the next one. And when we come to the next slide with the names, I will tell you the name. So we'll move on. To me, let's have a bit of fun. I see a lion's head on top of, I don't know. What do you see? When you do a comment below. I can see like up the top there, a lion's head and like another kind of lion's head, a lion's head upon a lion's head. Let's have some fun with this. This is actually a picture of CERN Collider that I took from Google Images. But again, I just want to restate, Daniel Neems does not work for CERN. Let's continue. This looks a bit like a tiger to me. What does it look like to you? As I said, let's have some fun with the pictures because it is pareidolia. I can see eyes, a nose and a mouth, but it looks very animal, like I can see two ears, like a tiger or something. Let's get on to the next one. This looks to me like a bunny rabbit. As I said, we're having a bit of fun. You let me know what you see in it. Some say this looks demonic because at the top, which I can't get in the whole frame, there are white horns. Okay. This looks like a fat Mexican with a mustache. Oh dear. As I said, we're having fun. You let me know what it looks like. I can see a face and like a green tunic, but I had to do what best I could, trying to fit each picture in each slide of the PowerPoint. So, this looks like lamb. You know Aleister Crowley's lamb? This looks to me awfully like the alien lamb. See the dark eyes? It looks like Aleister Crowley's drawing of lamb. Okay, slide 27 has a name. It's named 2B. I don't know what that means, whether it comes from the second dimension. This looks like some weird being with its mouth open in agony, pointing its hand at you. What do you reckon? This looks like a big bear to me. But as I said, we all see what we want to see. I can see a big bear face and then like a triangle thingy underneath the bear face. Let's get on with it. Oh, of course, a green Martian. No, this looks like something that's laughing, and I can see ears, eyes, nose and face. There, I can almost see teeth. I'll call this, you know, my funny little green Martian. This one has a number assigned to it. The number assigned is 33. Again, I see eyes. I don't know what this is. A monster? What do you reckon? Again, I see like a face, like very teddy bearish face. I would really, at the end of my PowerPoints, I'm going to ask for comments, and I'd be very interested if there's anything that you see in these pictures. Okay, let's continue. This is just a big blur to me. Oh yeah, I can see towards the bottom in purple, if you look at the bottom, there's a face. They all look like teddy bears. I've got teddy bears on the brain. All right, let's move on. As I said, I'm sorry I couldn't fit the pictures perfectly in the PowerPoint slide. Now this does look evil. This does look demonic. It looks like it's got its arms crossed. The other thing I could think what it looks like is a genie. You know, a genie in a bottle? Okay, let's continue. This guy's got a big nose. If you look at the top, there seems to be two entities there. Two eyes and a big nose. And then it seems to have copied itself lower with a yellow eyes and big nose. That just seems to be a reflection of itself. I don't know. This is something in the foggy mist. I can see Isn't this amazing that every image has got eyes and a nose? And the longer I look at this, the more this one gives me the creeps. It's got a very ghastly smile. If you look, it looks like jagged teeth, but maybe I'm seeing too much. And just underneath it, the pointy chin seems to be another image of something wearing like sunglasses. Oh, a teddy bear from hell with glowing eyes. What do you guys see? I'd be really interested to read the comments. Yeah, definitely. Can you see its black nose and the eyes? Teddy bear everywhere. This is a pig, a purple pig with yellow around it. Can you see the snout? Let me know again in the comments what you see. As I said, this is entertainment. If this was really images, interdimensional images, I think we're stretching. And, you know, the longer you stare at this, you can see, like I said, a pig. But if you look in the middle tinier, there's back my teddy bear, purple teddy bear. This just looks like a blob, like blood spilt on blue, just a blob. But no, I can start to see something in it. This is what, if you stare, pareidolia is so wonderful. You stare too long at anything and you can see eyes and faces. This again, I can see jagged white teeth. Let me know in the comments, guys. This actually, to let you know a bit more, it isn't showing it properly, but this entity appeared in a triangle, a white triangle, and again, it looks like an animal to me, like, I don't know, like some type of cat. This looks to me like some type of wolf, a dog or a wolf. But if you look at the top, there's like two eyes and a nose that looks like a dog. But if you look on top of the dog, you can see a face, another face. This is very interesting that we're getting faces within faces, and you know, the eyes see what they want to see. Oh, now what is this, Jim? Atoms exploding? I can't make anything out of that one. So this one's got me beat. Fish? I see fish. Yeah, if I look long enough, I see fish. And behind the fish, I see a face, but I can't make it out. This is kind of scary. It's back to back. Is it one entity? Is it two entities? Or is it like the entity has suddenly done, like he's caught it in motion, flipping from side to side, and it's got awful things as well, a long face and sunken eyes. No, don't like it. This looks like a pussycat. What do you reckon? You see the pussycat? As I said, we're having a bit of fun. Now the next slide has got a number to it. Again, it looks like a pussycat to me wearing clothes, but it's known as 10B. 10B. Yeah, it looks like that pussycat in a green costume. Let's move on. I see several things here. Big picture, I see like a monstery looking thing, but then in the center I see a tiny elongated like ears face. So I see a big face at the top, and in the middle I see, just underneath the blue, I see another face. What were those, you know, those creatures in the movie that, gremlins? That's what it looks like, a gremlin. This one gives me the creeps. This is, if ever demons existed, this is what, to me, a demon would look like. What do you reckon? You see the horns? Yep, demon, we'll go demon. Sometimes I wonder, you know, when you put it out there and you say, this looks like something, by thinking it into existence, it actually becomes that. What do you reckon? This one has a number, and it is 10B. Again, I see like an animal, but I haven't got it into position properly. In fact, it looks like eyes and a nose, but the image when I transferred it over was actually of a whole being. So I'm missing the head, and in the middle it's just got its hands clasped together. But as I said, you could, and its hands clasped together, and a very skinny, bony kind of stomach, abdomen, but I can also see eyes and a nose. So yeah, that was 10B. This one also is number 69, and again, to me, demonic. So it's 69 in the images. Did I tell you that the energy vision is supposed to have captured over 70 different types of beings? I've only found these. This one, well, it could be a face on a stomach. You could look at the top and see two eyes and a weird nose, or right in the middle you could see a face with like two weird antennae. I don't know what it doesn't resemble anything to me, just a fat face, two eyes, and two very dark antennae. What do you reckon? But according to the numbers assigned, this I think was assigned 48. Butterflies, and no. Again, at the top I see like a cat. So right at the top I see a cat, but itself is I think why we're getting this blur image of faces is perhaps the entity is moving and it's capturing, you know, is capturing it at different rates of movement, you know, if this energy device really did exist. This has been for entertainment purposes only. No official CERN records, publications, or staff listings include a Daniel Neems associated with these experiments. Now, I spent a lot of time doing a lot of research to make this PowerPoint, and I want to thank my sources, Pinterest and Google Images. From Pinterest, I sourced from a creator called Daniel Neems, Worrywart, which was also, Worrywart was an alias for Daniel Neems, and Monster Man, who I couldn't find what his real name was. So let's continue. As I said, I did a lot of research on Google before I made this PowerPoint. I went everywhere, including ChatGPT, including Googling, and there is a patent listed to Daniel Neems, but it's got something to do with imaging, cancer, so I don't think it's our Daniel. And here's another Daniel Neems. I don't know if it's the same one, but this was sourced from LinkedIn, and this Daniel Neems works at Tempest Labs. I don't know what Tempest Labs does. And I just want to show you, after looking at all those images, I'm sorry if I've mispronounced this, Rorschach images, we're going to have a look at two. So let's have some fun. Two people looking at each other, joined by a pair of sunglasses or something. I don't know. Butterflies? As I said, when I did my Rorschach test, I saw lots of things more than the normal person, and lots of different things. Like I said, the longer you stare, the more things your eyes will trick you into seeing. So let's look at the last slide. So here's some more examples of Rorschach. So the middle one to me looks like a ballerina and upside down with her legs. That I can see butterflies and all sorts. I went, like I said, I did a lot of research for this. So I went to CERN itself and I searched at first for Daniel Neems, no results. Energivision, no results. Now, you know, guys, I am a conspiracy theorist, and if this was true, maybe CERN would hide it, because CERN wouldn't like us to know what's happening. But why would they name other scientists when we know very well what CERN and other colliders are doing? So I just wanted you to know that I am a conspiracy theorist myself, and I do believe CERN and other particle colliders do create portals into other dimensions, and I do also believe that once a portal is opened, things can come through. But please use discernment. When you watch other YouTube videos who claim that Daniel Neems did really capture this at CERN or other social platforms. Put the research in like I did, and you'll find that they're sensationalizing. I'm just a small channel, and I would never source something if it wasn't true. And I found no science verification the fact that this device called Energivision would exist. And if it did, he would have put a patent on it. So I hope you've enjoyed my PowerPoint, because like I said, I spent hours doing this, cross-checking my references, because look, I'd like to believe it's true. I am a conspiracy theorist, and I really would like to believe that what we just saw were interdimensional beings, and that this Daniel Neems did capture over 70 different beings. And as I said, on Facebook and other platforms, he's got, whoever it is, has got over 8,000 likes. So yeah, I just ask you to please don't believe everything. You can't. And also, don't believe that things aren't happening, because you know they are. But always use discernment. I want to say thank you very much if you stayed with me for watching, and really please drop a comment. Where do you think these photos came from, other than Pinterest and on Google Web and other places? How do you think they are Rorschach images, or do you think they're digital, made up? I'd love to read your opinions. Thanks again. Take care of each other and yourselves. Love, light, and blessings. My name is Jem, and I appreciate every one of you. Bye.